So the first question is from Tori, and she's asking, how do you go about building a lead list for cold outreach? If you're on my email list, I've been emailing ideas and tips about cold emailing for, I think, for about close to a week already. And most likely that's where, it triggered this question. So Tori, let me take you through the process. Okay. In order for you to do a cold email outreach, the first thing you need to have is obviously your lead list, right? Lead list is essentially the list of emails of people that you want to target, okay? And then number two, then you would need to basically do your research. Now, this is where a lot of so-called perception of cold email is being the way people think about cold email is different. They will think that all I need to do is get a list and I'm going to just blast them an email and to try to sell them something. That is called spamming. That's not cold outreach. The proper way or the respectful way of doing cold email outreach is you have a lead list, which means you literally target every single individual. That means you know that this person would have a potential that of a problem that you may possibly be able to solve. That's why you're reaching out. And so you're not reaching out to any Tom, Dick, or Harry. Okay. And then once you've done that, you then want to research to understand, where is he coming from, and then what do they do, and what are the issues, to really, really understand the person, the prospect first before you talk to them. Okay. And then you craft your cold email sequence. Okay. Now this is the easy part, because once you have the target audience, you know basically what are the issues that you may face that you can possibly solve. Then it's a matter of building it, into your cold email sequence. That's why in cold email, every single email literally would be different from the next person. It's not one single template for everyone. Okay, that's the proper way of doing it. Yes, it takes a lot of work, but the other way is for you to run ads and try to bombard or so-called blanket as many people as possible. What you do is eventually you probably get like 1% of your target audience, and the rest is being wasted, all right? Because nowadays, social ad targeting is not that precise anymore, okay, because of privacy issue and all those things. So if you have a small list or you are in a B2B, and this is important, it works best if you're in a B2B. So if you're in a B2C consumer, then it'll be a bit more difficult. For example, I'm going to target ladies who have interest in jewelry. That's too broad. That one you use ads, right? But in B2B, I would want to target, for example, let's say mechanical engineering company. Okay. There's only a limited amount or limited number of mechanical engineering company within your country, or if you want to target the world, still it is not like in the millions or hundreds of thousands, right? So this one is where cold email works best. Okay. To answer Tori's question again, how do you go about building the lead list? So let's focus on this one. Okay. There are a few tools or there are a few methods of doing it. One of them is use LinkedIn. They have this feature called LinkedIn Sales Navigator. It is paid subscription. I think it's running about $79. What it does is it has a list of everybody who is on LinkedIn. Okay. And it allows you to, if you are an individual sales rep, for example, let me see. So it allows you to use LinkedIn as it is to build network access, to do advanced lead and company search, your lead and account recommendation, your job change, and target company newsletter. So for example, now you build a list of target audience. Whenever the person from the company makes a post, or maybe the company makes a post, then you'll be notified. So now you have a very clear idea of the happenings within the company as far as publicly is concerned. Okay, so LinkedIn Sales Navigator is great. You have to obviously do the groundwork of going through your contacts and all those things. But generally speaking, because as it is, if you're on LinkedIn, then it becomes an extension and gives you a lot more power in terms of, or extensions in terms of what you can do with your list. Okay. The next option is to go through companies' that actually builds or collate B2B leads. So what they do is now these are different. Okay, here's a fine line. You may receive emails from people saying that I'm trying to sell you a list of, let's say, 100,000 companies and all those things. As opposed to, so what's the difference between companies like this? Now, companies like this have a reputation to maintain. So what they do is they still scrape the list, but they will verify this list, okay? And they are not going to sell you dodgy list, all right? And it is not basic. They are not selling you the list anyways. You are so-called renting the list, and they're compiling it, and you can just get the information from within their database, and you can use it to reach out. So Lucia is one of them. The next option is could be a company like Apollo. So it will have about, let's say, 250 million contacts over 60 million companies. So instead of you going through LinkedIn, for example, and go through one at a time, you can still do the search function within LinkedIn Sales Navigator. You can search by area, you can search by industry, you can search by positions, for example, or company size or revenue size. It is still available. But what companies like Apollo and Lucia does is they have already compiled this. So it is a lot more easier for you. And all you need to do is once you've got the list, doesn't mean that you're going to send it to all of them. You still have to go through the list and to identify in a bit more precise manner which one is suitable for you to send. All right. The other option is companies like Zoom Info. Now, this is a premium one, obviously, because they're not sharing the pricing. So obviously, I understand that it's not cheap for Zoom Info. And finally, you can also look like, for example, a solution like Uplead. All right, so it's about 74 US dollars a month subscription. So it allows you B2B prospecting with 95% data accuracy, which means they actually clean through the list. But in most cases, I would recommend if you use any of these services, is for you to do the cleaning on your own as well, just to be sure, because you don't know how often they update it, or maybe there was some changes because people change job. Especially now, the job market is pretty volatile. You won't know. They could be here this week, and they could be out of a job next week, or they could have moved on to another job, right? So these are the options. You have LinkedIn Sales Navigator, then you have Lucia, then you have Apollo, and you have Zoom Info. And what's the other one? Can't remember. Zoom Info, then the other one is Uplead. Okay. So once you have downloaded this list, then make sure you clean this list again. Okay. Just to make sure. And then you still need to do your own research as to, what are the key points that you can, so-called the bridge. I always used to call it the bridge that allows you to connect to the other person, some conversation or icebreaker conversation that you can start off with. Okay. So Tori, I hope I've addressed the your questions about what are the how do you go about building your lead list. Okay, it is a fair bit of work, but I can tell you it is worth it once you've identified the audience, because you pick the audience now, as opposed to somebody who gives you an audience and you're trying to reach out to them without any context. Okay. Hi, and thanks for watching. If you need my help to set up your email marketing engine for your business, just click on the link here and you see a list of services that will help you grow your leads and sales and also increase your profits through emails. I'm looking forward to working with you soon.